All right. So next piece of the puzzle, right? Just down to side control. So next piece of the puzzle is we were going, right? We were talking about using the pad and using the positions and understanding that even though on the pad as we're going to move, there's legs involved, right? So a lot of my transitions from like basic side control to knee on belly and then across the floor, like I need to be thinking about what's going on with the feet. I don't want to get lazy about where my feet are at because even if they're not, like a skilled jiu-jitsu player, but I start kind of like dragging my foot over. If my foot gets caught in between their legs, it just becomes more of a pain in the ass, right? So as I'm making those transitions, ball, foot to the floor, heavy. If I decide I want to get out of here, I'm using position, stepping that knee up over to get that foot in, right? So I'm making those clearances. Now we want to start looking at the hands for two reasons. First and foremost, I don't want to get hit, right? So like if I'm trying to play around with these different positions, I don't want her, getting a lucky punch into here, getting fingers into my face, even just prying and pushing on legs and all this type stuff. Even if she doesn't know what's going on positionally, she can start fucking around my structure. So as I'm playing into these spots and I want to start implementing striking, especially in knee on belly, I want to be aware of what the hands are doing, right? So two things are going to happen into here. We have our basic 3 positions we're working on tonight. So I'm smothering, right? When I'm in my side control position, I want to start collecting the arms up because I don't want her to hit me. That's kind of like rule number 1. So as I'm going into it, I don't want her to be able to like frame really well. I certainly don't want her to be able to hit me if there's enough space for me to hit. And I also need to be considering that I don't want her to be able to reach towards her waistline, potentially if she's got a weapon, right? So if I am working in that, I need to consider all these things that are happening with the hands. So as I'm scooping down in nice and low, I want to start thinking, okay, well, I'm going to scoop the arm up to hold it. I want heavy chest pressure down. I'm like sucking the limbs in, the body in, heavy chest to chest pressure. That's going to take away a lot of her ability to create kind of power with the strikes. It's going to take away some of the ability for her to reach towards her waistline. I can start using my head to smother and smush. And then I can start using these positions to start doing the stuff that I want to do from here, okay? As I transition into my other positions, like knee on belly, for instance, same exact ideas. I want to be aware of what the arms are doing, right? So as I come up, get my knee in, I start to position up. I don't just want to kind of free play up into here, right? I might be like posting an arm down as I'm starting to rain my strikes down, right? If her hands start pushing onto the knees, I might start pushing and posting them away. And now, boom, I have my strikes into here. So I'm clearing, posting, pushing her arms, but also by implementing my strikes, giving her another responsibility for her arms, which is a problem for her, right? If she's pushing on my knee and trading framing on my knee for me just knocking her unconscious with punches, that's going to be a big fucking problem for her, right? But I have to be aware of what's going on with that. Because if I'm only thinking punches and she frames and structures off of that, and now I lose position, I'm on my butt, that sucks for me too. So I gave up a positional piece just to throw some strikes. Does that make sense? Okay, so side control, I'm kind of scooping the arms up, heavy chest pressure. I'm being aware of all those elements. Defense, offense, and then making sure she can't access weapons, right? Just in case. I start moving into knee on belly, same exact things. I'm kind of across the waistline. I'm posting, pushing on hands. I'm opening up opportunities to strike. I start moving into mount, same idea. As I'm moving into mount, I'm kind of collecting the head, right? I can be pushing, posting down on the arms. I take the foot all the way over. I start riding higher up into my mount, okay? And collecting as much, making it as hard as possible for her to be able to do anything with those arms. As I transition out, I'm staying low, heavy, stepping the knee over, going back to catching the hands. I go down into side control, I'm low and heavy, collecting the arms, opening up opportunities for me to hit. So we're taking the basic positional drills of just side control, knee on belly, heading into mount, and then we're considering, okay, now there's striking in a self-defense environment, now there might be some weapons, and I've got to kind of consider all those pieces of the puzzle. A lot of that comes down to just having an awareness of what the other person's arms are doing. So scoop them up, suck them into their body, chest to chest pressure, staying heavy, and that's where that beast walk mentality of keeping the hips low to the floor, toes dug in the ground, because if I start switching my hips too much, too willy-nilly, it's easy for them to post off and move. Make sense? Questions? Thank you. All right, so we're going to play around with this. You can go